All the ZX10R Masters Cup action is proudly brought to you by SunBet, Red Square, Bridgestone Tyres, and Kawasaki Motorcycles. Welcome to Cape Town and Killarney International Raceway for round one action now of the SunBet ZX10R Masters Cup Championship for 2023. A big field expected down here in Cape Town, and exactly what the circuit has provided. Some of the international riders coming to join us as well, with Eskil Suter stepping up for the very first time. We'll catch up with him later in the show. Great to see a huge initiative from SunBet to get these riders involved in this massive event for the kickoff of 2023 season. The SunBet ZX10R Masters Cup, powered by Red Square, shot by Bridgestone Tyres. It's always fantastic to see these Kawasaki's going at it, and expect to see the Cape Town Massive at the front end. Although riders have come from all around the country, and in fact from all around the world, it's fantastic to have Maori Suter and Eskil Suter here as well. Ex-GP rider joining the class and just upping the game slightly here in the SunBet ZX10R Masters Cup for 2023. Still with a bit of work to do on his wife's bike, so Maori Suter getting some help there from Eskil. And he's down in Donny from Killarney's pit. Let's go and find out what his plans are here today to go and take on the best of the ZX10R Masters Cup.
Hello, I'm Eskil Suter from Switzerland, and first time here in Cape Town for racing. Actually, first time also in the Kawasaki Cup. We are partly living here in South Africa and enjoy it very much. Our friend Brian brought us into the Kawasaki Cup and to race here, me and my wife. Yes.
The champion will always have his target on his back, Van Bredar. Let's catch up with some of his contenders in the pre-race press conference.
I think it's been okay. I've been riding, my lines are completely messed up, but we're getting there slowly but surely. But the track feels really good. I think it's really good since the last time I was here.
Last season was terrible. I only raced a couple of times, so yeah, I'm keen to start a new season, start fresh, and get the confidence back, and try and push for some better results.
I've been actually truly blessed to be here. We weren't going to make it, Greg, to be honest, but got detail that came in the last minute, so they helped us a little bit, exposure and a little bit of a sponsorship, and then as well as Peter DeVos, I must say a big thank you to him. He actually pulled his bike off the truck to give me the money to travel down here with my family. So without him, I wouldn't be able to start off with.
That's the official call to bring riders to the line, and you see Marky Mark there from Red Square, making sure the riders are refueled and ready to go for this first heat of action in the SunBet ZX10R Masters Cup for 2023. On track you can see some standing water on the sidelines. That's from overnight rain and early morning rain, but it's all cleared up now. We have a dry circuit, and as you can see the sun is out. A little bit of a cool breeze, going to make the engines work nicely. Let's see who's going to have what it takes now to take the first victory for 2023. Ronald Slamet is the man that they're all looking to try and catch, and he's definitely been a dominant factor right from the word go. He helped out there from AJ Fenta and Laka Racing, and he's certainly looking for that Voltmark Kawasaki of his to be at the front end and take on the rest of this field. Almost an entire front row of Cape Townians. Trevor Westman, the killer, alongside the Red Baron. He's in second place there in the Project 60 Kawasaki, looking for a chance to take on his arch rival and good friend off the circuit. And there he is, Westy, but it's Van Bredar who just stops at being an entire front row of Cape Townians on the Stefanuti Stocks machine. And Suter Racing's Eskil Suter makes his way into the front row, the front of the second row, alongside Jason Lamb, who is certainly fired up and definitely looking for a chance to be fighting at the front end, as he was at almost every single occasion in 2022. There is how they line up. And you can see there Entercott and Lamb ahead of Munton. Then it's Peter DeVos, Brian Bontekoning, and Hein McMahon, Michael Smith and Lubala Nsana just ahead of Johan LaRue. Join us after the break for race one action here from Killarney. Welcome back to Killarney and race one action about to kick off for the 2023 season of SunBet ZX10R Masters Cup, powered by Red Square, shot by Bridgestone Tyres, and 12 laps of action about to come your way. We're on board with Peter DeVos, the John Josie outsourcing Kawasaki. He's on the third row, trying to go with Suter just ahead of him. And you can see Trevor Westman not even worried, just cool, calm and collected off the line. Can he do anything about the man out front, Ronald Slamet? No, he can't. With a start like that, you're never going to catch Slamet. The Red Baron was a rocket off the line and looks like he might be heading down into turn one easily in the lead. Suter up in a second, diving through on Graham Van Bredar as they go to Holzhoek for the first time. Further back there, Brian Bontekoning under a bit of pressure there from Peter DeVos. Great start there from Slamet, and an even better start coming from Suter from the second row, following through the man who was just ahead of him on the line. and hangs on at this point in time, heading down. No, he doesn't. Oh, it's a big maneuver there from Graham Van Breda to squeeze him out. And looks like there could be a bit of squeezing out in the back of the pack as well. Watch out for this mid-pack battle. There's going to be a couple of them starting to sort things out there as we get into it. Sifiso Temba around the outside looking for a way through there on Dieter Hazelman. The big man already in the mix there with IM63. As they start to sort it all out, not such a good start coming out of Entercott. He's got some work to do. Entercott from the second row has dropped back down in about 7th place. Peter De Vos, John Gonjosi trying to close things down here on Brian Bontekoning just ahead of him. Bonte through Sorrel sweep for the first time. It'll probably take about a lap and a half to get these tyres up to optimum firing temperature. And, well, except for Ronald Slammett, he's firing on all cylinders. That Mike Oxy is definitely working out for him perfectly as he goes down into turn 5, way ahead of the rest of the pack. Trevor Westman applying pressure, trying to squeeze through there and get back ahead of Suter. So Suter from Westman, and then it's Graham Van Breda in 4th place as they come out of Cape Town corner. The rest of the pack in that mid-pack as well. Watch out for Clint Munton. Munton having a fantastic dive just behind this leading pack, and he's joined the leading pack, in fact, as they come up into turn 1. At the inside of turn 1, getting through on Munton, though, with Jason Lamb trying to make up some ground now. And he's just squeezed ahead there of Entercott and Clint Munton. They're trying to close the gap down there on Suter and Van Breda. Van Breda and Suter have lost out to Westman. Westman's up into 2nd place. Looks like Van Breda's got some work to do. Jason Lamb is absolutely cleaning things up here in this second pack of riders. He's really getting to grips with the circuit. He's got to grips with his motorcycle, and he's definitely pushing hard to try and get to the front end. He needs to be at the front end. Cannot afford to lose out too much right from the closing early stages here of this championship. This is on board with Hein McMahon heading through turn 3. The K9 enforcement machine looking pretty good through there, I've got to tell you. And Hein McMahon Slucky has certainly had a huge turnaround in his career in the ZX10R Masters Cup. He uses a lot of time at Swartkops in the brunch run category to get and hone his skills, and they're certainly getting a lot more honed towards the front end of this fight for the ZX10R 2023 championship. Inside line from Van Breda. Is Suter going to give him some room to play? He is. Van Breda's got that inside line, and he just squeezes his skill Suter out. Suter down 1 position, down to 4th place now. Van Breda up to 3rd as they come to cross the line and complete another lap in anger here. And this is really turning out to be the Ronald Slammett show. Look at the gap he's pulled over Trevor Westman. Westman with no answer whatsoever. Here comes Entercott. Entercott on the inside. Finds a way through there on Clint Munton. Now looking to try and pounce onto Van Breda, onto Lamb, and also find a way through there on Suter. Suter runs a little bit wide out of Hol's Hook. That could cost him a little bit of time on the drive. Will Entercott to be able to capitalize on that. He's going to try and follow Lamb through. What a move there from Eskil Suter. 250cc line on the inside, and he slams that ZX10 in there like it's a baby bike. He's not worried at all, is Eskil Suter, about the different lines that these guys are riding. He's got his own lines, and they're working perfectly for him as he moves back to 4th ahead of Lamb. Clint Munton just on the back. I can't believe the maneuver there from Clint Munton. Certainly found something special in his breakfast this morning. Maybe he had a bit of red square on top of it, but it's certainly working well as Munton is on the back end of Entercott and pushing him to the limit down that back straightaway. Going to get into the slipstream now. Possibly change up things as they go down towards Fastron Corner. Munton goes high and wide. Entercott goes inside. Just behind that, that's Peter De Vos, all on his own. Lubabalo and Sana leading out the second pack, who's got involved with Michael Smith, Brian Bontekoning, and Johan Leroux joined the party there as well. Watch in the background, the Avidan bike coming to play. He dives on the inside and finds a way through. Slacky just losing out there. So Hein McMahon drops 1 position behind one of the older statesmen of this championship. The man has been around literally since its inception there. And McMahon goes onto the wall to go past him. Or does he? No, he doesn't. He had to back out of that one. Otherwise, he probably would have ended up as some of the branding on the side of that newly painted Killarney International Raceway wall. Diving through on the inside there, also watch out for Lubabalo. He's come to join the party. David Veringa not too far as well. In fact, Veringa diving through there in the last part of that shot and joins this pack. This is fantastic to see. Michael Smith now looking for a way through. Veringa has made his way up nicely. And it looks like we're in for a shot there because all of a sudden we've got 4 bikes fighting hard. And this is literally for top 10 honours here. It's to get that 10th place on track. That's what they're all fighting for. Not even fighting for the front end, but it shows you just how well the SunBet ZX10R Masters Cup works. All through the pack, you'll have little riders getting together, groups of riders getting together, and they're all on similar type machinery. As I said, all ZX10Rs, different variations of that ZX10R, all on the same tyres, but it's up to the rider's skill now and their ability on the motorcycles to get those lap times in. Evenly matched lap times will join together throughout the race. This is exactly what we're seeing here from Bontekoning's point of view as he leads out the second pack on track at the moment. A bit of a change up there as Michael Smith closes things down ever so slightly, but Smith's got some problems of his own with that Avidan Kawasaki behind him of Johan Leroux. No problems at all for this man though. Ronald Slammett, look at the gap he's got over Trevor Westman. The 2 Cape Town boys showing the rest of the field the way around. keep an eye out on the other two Cape Town boys. There's Entercott is starting to put the pressure on. Lamb on the inside of Suter has found a way past. He hasn't got through on Van Breda just yet. Van Breda continues to hang on to third place. But looking at the lap times, Entercott has just put in the fastest lap of the race and looks to be the man on the move. And as I say that, he has a big look at Suter into turn 3. Couldn't quite get up the inside and slam it through, but he's now looking to set things up, possibly onto that back straightaway for an overtaking maneuver down into Fostron corner, Cape Town corner as well as it's known. Clint Munton watching and looking to pick up any pieces that might go flying if it does get out of shape. And we've seen it on numerous occasions on motorcycles down into this corner. Here is Van Breda on the brakes to keep out Lamb. And no move just yet from Entercott. I'm not quite sure why he got blocked slightly there from Eskil Suter, so it kind of spoilt his run onto that back straightaway. So he'll have to try again and see if he can make his way higher up as he goes around the outside onto the wall to get through there on Eskil. Eskil comes onto the wall and slams the door shut. He changes his line, heads into turn 1, and Lamb does a similar thing, but both of them not able to make the move on the man in front of them. So Suter maintains what is now 6th place, and Graham Van Breda continues in the 3rd spot. So that's how things are at this stage. Jason Lamb is trying to close the gap down and keep out 3 riders behind him, 3 very hungry riders. As I said, once again, Clint Munton, to be in this front pack, certainly has turned his luck around here in a big way and is going to be a man to watch out for in this championship. Remember, there are 3 categories of riders in this championship as well. Each of the classes involved in this are the veterans, the masters, and the grand masters, and they all fight it out amongst themselves. At the end, it's all about the ZX10R Masters Cup Championship that Van Breda has taken with that number 1 plate on the Stefanuti Stocks and Motul-sponsored Kawasaki. They will want that number 1 plate for 2023, and they're hunting hard for it. None more than Ronald Slamet and Trevor Westman, who've got away from this pack. Van Breda trying to hang on to things for now. Here comes Entercott, late on the brakes, into Vostron, and this time he's through. Gets up the inside of Eskil Suter, moving himself up again. Keep an eye on that lap time as he comes across. Has he gone quicker again? Possibly he has. The body language on Dave Entercott looks like he could possibly be in with a chance here. There's still enough laps in hand for him to close down on Lamb and on Van Breda and maybe spoil their day. He is pushing hard, and it's a man that would love to make it 3 Cape Townians on the podium. I'm sure that the Cape Town crowd are shouting hard there for him to do just that. Closes again on Jason Lamb into turn 2, leaving Suter behind and leaving Suter to fight it out with Clint Munton. Back to the 2nd pack of riders, and it's still the 44 machine there of Johan Leroux in the 3rd place in this battle. It's about 9th place on track as Bontekoning hangs on to the front end ahead of Michael Smith. Watch in the background as Han McMahon joins the party. He has also been fighting hard there with Lubabalo and with Dave Varinga, and they continue to fight it out to the end of this one. Entercott looking to close that gap down again now. He was quickest on the last lap, so he's definitely the man to watch out for in the closing stages of race number 1. Is there enough time in hand here for him to close down on Lamb and on the champion to find a way through? Back to the 2nd pack, and it's heating up in the background. Varinga in it there big time with Han McMahon, and looks like, I was going to say just in the background, he's picking up on that Magic bike, but not quite yet. This is back markers now being lapped by the leader. IM63 is Sifiso Temba, and it's Maori Suter that he's fighting with. So great to see the lady rider having an absolute blast out there with one of our season campaigners, and I'm sure they've had a fantastic little scrap. It is checkered flag time, and Ronald Slamet has got through them and past them on that penultimate lap, so they'll have 1 less lap to do. These guys have still got a full lap to go, and Bontekoning looks like he's dropped back slightly. It's opened up there with Michael Smith now leading this pack. We're on board here with Peter DeFoss, John Gonjosi outsourcing machine through turn 3, and he's done it absolutely to perfection here as Peter DeFoss. Brilliant ride there from him, and once again a massive shout out to show the kind of camaraderie there is amongst these riders to get the other riders back down to Cape Town. Heading to the flag though, it's the Red Baron and the Volt Market and True Vine Kawasaki about to take the first win of 2023. He wins out over Trevor Westman, who's just behind him in fact. Westman closed that gap down rapidly, but it was because the man out front just eased off slightly, and there was a bit of traffic for them both to negotiate in the closing stages. So Slamet from Westman beating out Dave Entercott, who came through to beat out Van Breda and Jason Lamb, locking out the Cape Town podium there. Suter in 6, Munton in 7 ahead of Peter DeFoss, Brian Bontekoning and Hein McMahon, your top 10. Great job there from them as well. Class A, it's Slamet, Westman and Entercott. Class B went to Van Breda ahead of Jason Lamb, and Class C is going to Suter, Munton and Peter DeFoss. Those are the top 3 in each of the categories. But a great first race nonetheless. Let's catch up now with your race 1 winner, Ronald Slamet.
It was a good race for us. We managed to get the whole shot and managed to lead the entire race. It's a long race, but I'm just so grateful to my team, AJ and Howard and Lekker Racing, for giving me an absolute weapon to ride this weekend. And yeah, we'll see what race 2 holds, and we hopefully will bring it home.
In second place, fellow Cape Townian Trevor the Killer Westman.
Towards the end, I could see there was a bit of back marker, so I put the hammer down and I went into the 13s and got the gap a bit closer and a bit closer. And we needed maybe one more lap to go. We could have done a challenge, but yeah, well done to Ronald. Excellent ride, and I look forward to race 2. Thank you.
A great charge through the field from the man in third place and locking out the Cape Townian podium, and it goes to Dave Enticott.
Race 1 was an absolute crazy start. Kind of blundered the start slightly. Made it up reasonably quick. Couple of laps in, got past 1 or 2 of the faster guys. Couple of really well-known guys here at the moment. Was really nice to bang balls with them. Eventually finished the race in third with pretty much a personal best lap time I'm over the moon with. Just want to say thanks to all the supporters, and come down to the track and watch the racing.
Welcome back to race 2 action now from the SunBet ZX10R Masters Cup here in Cape Town at the Killarney International Raceway. And a great initiative there from the Cape Town City to get behind the Killarney International Raceway for the next couple of years. They've signed the lease, which means we're going to be racing here for a long, long time, and I'm sure that all these riders are pretty stoked about that.
Came through a red light into the pit lane. Yeah. So save your petrol and park over the side, please.
From the sound of that, Eskil Suter has been excluded from the race right from the word go. That is a big loss to this field. Peter De Vos looking from the rear end and from the front end as well as we go to race start of 12 laps of action coming away for race 2 now of the SunBet ZX10R Masters Cup. These Kawasaki's are ready to go, and fired up off the line once again is Ronald Slammert. What has he had for breakfast? Something went right on that machine all day long. I don't know what Alan John Fenter's been doing to him, but it's certainly working well as they head down towards turn 1, and he leads things out through a very hot pack of riders. And in fact, look how hot it is. Oh, big time! Brian Bontekonen coming together there with Peter De Vos and knocking Peter De Vos in a huge way. Oh, that could be, it ended up in huge tears there, but De Vos managed to hang on. And Bontekonen is fired up. He got ahead of the Sunscan Kawasaki there of Clint Munton, and now as the rest of the pack just sort things out in the background. It was a massive moment there between the two of them. We go on board here with Hein McMahon, the K9 law enforcement machine, pushing hard to try and stay a little bit higher up than what he was and not lose the gap to that front pack of riders. That's what every single one of that second pack want to do, and that's why Bontekonen was pushing so hard right from the word go. He lost ground to that first pack of riders early on in race number 1. He's not prepared to do that as they come through Sarah van der Merwe sweep now. He wants to try and stay with that front end, which includes Ronald Slammert leading things out at the moment from Van Breda. Westman didn't quite get the start he wanted. He's behind Enticott, and Jason Lamb looks like he might be putting Enticott behind him. He has, into turn 5. It's Jason Lamb up to 3rd, Enticott down to 4, and Westman looking to come through on both of them. Come to complete the first lap in anger, and it's been a bit of an angry lap out there for a couple of reasons. We lost Eskil Suter, we nearly lost De Vos, and now they come to complete this first lap of 12. And it's absolutely everything she's got there. Munton, De Vos, Lubabala Nsana, and Michael Smith flying through there. Brilliant stuff from them as well. As they come into the front end, it is Ronald Slammert doing exactly what he did in the first race, getting away and controlling things at his home circuit. Big pressure now from the second of the Cape Townians onto the man from East London. The Motormart machine there of Jason Lamb is under huge pressure from the Wayward Racing team, and it's the Project 60 bike of Trevor Westman who wants by. Can he get into turn 3? No, not quite yet. Let's try and find another way through. Watching in the background though, Westman will have to be very, very wary because Enticott is right behind him. There's not going to be any love lost between the two Cape Townians, that is for sure, as they come onto that back straight away again. They come flying down, probably at 260, 270 kilometers an hour before they climb on the anchors. And as I mentioned, it's not always easy to do the anchors at this point because with this new surface, the bumps have all been taken away. So a lot of the riders would have used those bumps as braking markers. They're no longer around. They've had to try and find other options. You heard it from Byron Rothwell in his interview, saying that a lot of the lines that he uses are no longer available because of the new surface that's been put down. But the surface is brilliant. Look at this, absolutely flying through the start-finish camera. And that is so good to see. 200 k's an hour and right up against that pit wall, hugging it to try and avoid the wind and, of course, get as much aerodynamics out of those ZX10s as they can. Speaking of aerodynamics, here comes the Wayward bike looking for a way through. Enticott round the outside of Lamb. Inside is Westman on all three. What a line there. The Cape Town line certainly paid off there for the killer, and he's up and into second place. Van Breda dropping down one position as he loses out to Trevor Westman. We go on board with Peter De Vos. looking straight back into the eyes of Michael Smith. And come onto the short straight, heading up and into that little kink down towards turn 3. This is very close action. Diving through on Brian Bonte. Oh, that's a great move. Bonte's going to come back at him. Oh, Bonte had a big look there, trying to find a way. They've already touched once or twice in this one, and I think Peter de Vos wants to return the favour and show Brian Bonte the way around. So here we go, back to the front pack of riders. This time it's Lamb closing in on Van Breda. Van Breda has got both Lamb and Entercott on his tail. He will not want to lose out onto those two riders again. But remember, Graham Van Breda, he's won this championship on a few occasions. He knows that it's not necessarily won in the first 2 races of the year. And as we see them in full flight again past our pit lane camera, it's always important to go away with championship points in the bag as opposed to a motorcycle on the sideline. So Van Breda will be concentrating on that. I know that both him and Peter Levskopny have been working hard to get this Stefan Udy stock bike sorted out. But it looks like the same thing's been happening down in East London with Jason Lamb's team. They are certainly doing an incredible job. Byron Rothkell on the Mag Magic bike, starting to close things down there on Lububalo and Sana. Looks like Varinga's taking on Hein McMahon, just in between these two backs of riders. We've got the number 44 there of Johan Leroux. So a nice little mix of riders here, slightly different to what we saw, and in fact a lot more different because all of a sudden we've also got the 46 machine diving in there. So the Mad Max Kawasaki of Rob Craig has joined the party as well. So that's nice to see another Cape Townian in the mix and trying to find a way through to the front end. And of course he has got oodles of experience around this track and will definitely be looking to put it into good use to take on Michael Smith as they go down towards the breaking point in Cape Town corner. Craig on the inside, Smith just opens up the door. Craig says, I'll have that. 46 ahead of 49, but tucking in behind Bonte, and almost up the inside of the Jag Power Products Kawasaki there of Brian Bontekune. Back to the front. And Trevor Westman in second place still with no answer to Ronald Slamet's pace out front. That is the gap of Slamet ahead of Westman. Westman just ahead of Van Breda. Van Breda still got some pressure, a little bit, not as much. There's a bit of a gap that's opened up now between himself and Jason Lamb. Michael Smith dropped to the back of that pack now. So he's got a bit of work to do. And all of a sudden, Peter de Vos has closed into the back end of the Sunscan Kawasaki of Clint Munton. So slightly different riders fighting, but all on a similar vein to what we saw in the first one. And it's just making for great entertainment for the crowds that are here today. Clint Munton has had a turnaround. And in fact, good possibilities could be up for Rider of the Day there because of the change-up he's had. But Peter de Vos could be in the running as well. The kind of pace he's found here on the John Gonjosi outsourcing Kawasaki. Heading through Silo Sweep. This is great to see. Lovely onboard shot here from our onboard cameraman there, Peter de Vos, as he goes onto that back straightaway. And as he goes onto the back straightaway, the leaders exit the back straight and out of Fostron corner to complete another lap in anger. It looks like this time Van Breda has now opened up a little bit of a margin. So he could control that ahead of Jason Lamb as they come flying through on our pit lane camera. Great shots there from the pit lane, showing you the type of speed. And also, just if you watch that young lady on the pit wall, she can't even turn her head before the next bike comes flying past at over 200 k's an hour. So Westman from Van Breda. Van Breda from Lamb. Entercott not able to close the gap this time, and I don't think Dave Entercott is going to have an answer in this one. Jonathan Schwerin has had a fantastic run here in the second heat and fighting with Sifiso Temba at the back end. Looks like they've both left Maori Suter slightly in the wake there, so she wasn't quite up as far up. The Buco bike going through there. That is also awesome to see Travis Nordia. And watch out for him when we get to the Eastern Cape circuits. He's always very good down in East London. And of course that's his home circuit, but he's also very good in PE. So that's definitely a man to watch out for there as he tips it into turn 2. Just ahead here of the big man, Dieter Hazeman. And Amadi Suter just in the background there, as I said, losing ground here slightly to Jonathan Schwerin and to IM63's Sifiso Temba. But great to have the lady rider involved in this one. And of course we're looking forward to the return potentially of our other lady rider, Landy Sinden, who had her little boy last year. She'll be looking forward, I'm sure, to fighting here with Marty. And Marty will be looking forward to another lady joining the party. So we're going to join in the party. Well, the party's opened up slightly at the front end. It's certainly still up for grabs here between Brian Bontekoning and Michael Smith as they go back into Holzhoek. Smith looking for a way through, but had that overtaken maneuver thrown up the inside there from a big move from the Jag Power Products Kawasaki of Brian Bontekoning. Bontekoning trying to hang on to that gap now, if he can. In the background, closing them down. Varinga is in for the shot. He wants a chance here. And it looks like the Juggernaut is starting to make his way to the front end. They're not going to catch the Red Baron as he heads down the back straight for the final time. Coming up on a couple of the back markers there. Steve Golgocci was one of those back markers that he was able to pass in the latter part of the second heat. And of course, he'll be looking forward to another battle at Swartkops for the next round. but no one could catch this man today. He is absolutely on fire. And it's the Volt Market's True Vine and Maike Oxy Kawasaki coming to the line. Just behind a battle that's still got to rage for another lap. He'll win things out, and the checkered flag is out once again for Ronald Slamet. 2 wins out of 2 starts, 2 second places for Trevor Westman on the wayward Project 60 Kawasaki, and he'll beat out, oh, what a charge to the line there. I think it was Van Breda who just crossed the line in 3rd place. Good drive there as well, coming out of Peter de Vos, fighting hard there with Rob Craig in the closing stages. So Westman finishes in 2nd, and it's Entercott in 4th ahead of Lamb. De Vos, Craig and Munton ahead of Michael Smith and Hein McMahon. Once again, Class A, Slamet, Westman, and Class B went to Van Breda ahead of Entercott. Class C's, De Vos and Craig. Let's catch up now with Johan Leroux from the Avadan Kawasaki team.
And as a matter of fact, I'm the oldest old bag around, still enjoying it. And I can recommend for anybody who's got a ZX10 over 35 years of age, come join us.
What a fantastic ride from John Gonjosi's Peter de Vos for 6th overall.
So we had a very good race too. Starting to find my rhythm. I'd like to say thanks to all the sponsors for the series. So we've got Red Square, we've got SunBet, Kawasaki, my personal sponsors, Yongin Gozi Outsorting, and the Matrix. Thanks you guys, I wouldn't be here without you. We're making little steps, and hopefully by the time Red Star comes, I'll be up with the front runners again.
Let's have a look at the overall championship standings after round number 1. It's Ronald Slamet who leads out, Trevor Westman in 2nd and Entercott in 3rd, tied with Graham Van Breda. On their tail is Jason Lamb, 1 point back. And then Peter de Vos, after that magnificent effort, leads out Class C's and 6 overall, heading to Red Star on the 22nd of April. Come and join us for SunBet ZX10R Masters Cup from the Red Star Raceway. All the ZX10R Masters Cup action is proudly brought to you by SunBet, Red Square, Bridgestone Tyres, and Kawasaki Motorcycles.